So the next book in this Age of Revelation event review is Unbreakable X-Men, which was surprisingly very inconsequential to this entire event. However, I have issue 2 of 3 with the Rogue variant, and it's very fitting because Rogue is a major player in this entire story. So this book is the spiritual follow-up to the Uncanny X-Men run written by Gail Simone that is currently going. And you can take one look at my page and see how much I love the Uncanny X-Men by Gail Simone. It is probably my favorite ongoing series right now. And with Unbreakable X-Men also being written by Gail Simone, I think this is probably the best story of the Age of Revelation event. This follows the current day Louisiana-based X-Men, which is currently led by Rogue, Gambit, Wolverine, Nightcrawler, and Jubilee, and the Outliers, who are new characters that have been introduced over the past year. In the first issue, we see that somewhere between present day and the Age of Revelation, Galactus had come to Earth to absorb Earth, and the X-Men were the only ones left to fight it. And in a last-ditch effort, Rogue had to sacrifice herself, absorbing Galactus's powers, turning into essentially a statue, and for all intents and purposes being dead. We see that now, further in the future, in the Age of Revelation, Gambit has become a shell of his former self. He is depressed, he has lost his eyesight, and he is essentially just waiting for death so he can be with Rogue once more. We also find out that the Outliers have dispersed across the world and are no longer working together as a team, and it's hinted that there was some drama that had happened since the present day to the Age of Revelation. However, when an old threat in Shabarak comes back to destroy the world, the Outliers have to reassemble and form a team led by Gambit to defeat Shabarak and save the world one more time. And in doing so, Rogue does come back. So like I said, this is probably the best story to come out of the Age of Revelation. And the funny part is that it's not even really related to the Age of Revelation mainline story that's going on. It takes place in this little corner of the universe, and there's really no mention of the actual Age of Revelation. It starts out really strong. I think that the first issue of this series, where we see that final battle where Rogue sacrifices herself, is probably one of the top 3 issues of the entire year I read last year. It was very good. However, I think that a lot of that momentum slowly kind of dies in the 3rd issue and the final issue of this story, where they bring back Rogue. I think it would have been better to either kill off Gambit as well, or to just leave Rogue dead and have Gambit learn to live without her. Again, this is like an alternate timeline story that they're probably going to prevent from happening, so if you're going to go sad, why not go sad? But really, again, that's one of the small issues I have with this. I loved seeing the Outliers. I loved the relationship between Jitter and Calico, and seeing the brotherly relationship between Death Dream and Ransom was really cool. I just really love all these characters, and it was cool seeing this future version of them. I'm giving Unbreakable X-Men 5 out of 6 Snicks.